Robert Spencer here for Jihad Watch, a program of the David Horowitz Freedom Center and for the Center for Security Policy. It happened on World Hijab Day. A Muslim student at the University of Central Florida, Rayyan Sukaria, grew enraged when she invited another student, Kathy Zhu, to don a hijab in solidarity with supposedly oppressed Muslim women, and Zhu refused. Sukaria took to Twitter and admonished her. You didn't even take the time to ask questions or try to understand what hijab is. That's ignorant of you. You literally sprinted after taking the photos. Pathetic. More ominously, Sukaria added, Twitter, do your thing. Let's get this girl expelled. Ignorance will not be tolerated at my campus. Happily, UCF officials rejected this call to expel Kathy Zhu, but that Sukaria made it at all let slip the authoritarianism and coercion that is at the heart of both leftism and Islam. Sukaria's call reveals the problem that many in the West have with the hijab in the first place, that it is not a free choice for all too many Muslim women, but a symbol of their oppression and subjugation. Indeed, World Hijab Day is a sick farce in the first place. Muslim women all over the world are forced to wear the hijab and subjected to violence if they do not. Courageous women in the Islamic Republic of Iran are now taking off their hijabs as a sign of their resistance to the oppressive Sharia regime under which they live, and at least 29 women have so far been arrested for doing so. Yet instead of recognizing these things, women in the U.S. are fed the false narrative that hijab-wearing women are harassed and persecuted in the West, and that they must stand in solidarity with them. That harassment and persecution are far more manufactured than real. Just weeks ago, an 11-year-old girl in Toronto made international headlines with her claim that a man had followed her and cut her hijab with scissors. After an investigation, police concluded that the attack never happened. Likewise, Yasmin Suwaid, a Muslim teen who claimed in December 2016 that Trump supporters on a New York subway tore off her hijab while no one in the packed subway car did a thing to help her, she too gained international media attention, and she too made up the whole thing. Shortly before that, a hijab-wearing Muslim student at San Diego State University also falsely claimed that she was assaulted by Trump supporters. There are many such incidents. In July 2017, a Muslima in Britain also falsely claimed that a man had pulled off her hijab in a race-hate attack. In November 2016, a University of Michigan Muslim student claimed that she was accosted by a white man who told her to remove her hijab or he would set her ablaze with a cigarette lighter. She also fabricated the whole event. Nonetheless, on World Hijab Day, non-Muslim women all over the country put on hijabs in solidarity with Muslim women who were supposedly plagued by Islamophobic harassment. But where is their concern for Aqsa Parvez, whose Muslim father choked her to death with her hijab after she refused to wear it? Or Amina Muse Ali, a Christian woman in Somalia whom Muslims murdered because she wasn't wearing a hijab? Or the 40 women who were murdered in Iraq in 2007 for not wearing the hijab? Or Alia As-Safar, whose Muslim cousin threatened to kill her and harm her family because she stopped wearing the hijab in Britain? Or Amira Osman Hamid, who faced whipping in Sudan for refusing to wear the hijab? Or the Egyptian girl also named Amira, who committed suicide after being brutalized for her family for refusing to wear the hijab? Or the Muslim and non-Muslim teachers at the Islamic College of South Australia, who were told that they had to wear the hijab or be fired? Or the women in Chechnya whom police shot with paintballs because they weren't wearing hijab? Or the women also in Chechnya who were threatened by men with automatic rifles for not wearing hijab? Or the elementary school teachers in Tunisia who were threatened with death for not wearing hijab? Or the Syrian schoolgirls who were forbidden to go to school unless they wore hijab? Or the women in Gaza whom Hamas has forced to wear hijab? Or the women in Iran who protested against the regime even before the recent uprising by daring to take off their hijabs? Or the women in London whom Muslim thugs threatened to murder if they didn't wear hijab? Or the anonymous young Muslim woman who doffed her hijab outside her home and started living a double life in fear of her parents? Or the 15 girls in Saudi Arabia who were killed when the religious police wouldn't let them leave their burning school building because they had taken off their hijabs in their all-female environment? Or the girl in Italy whose mother shaved her head for not wearing hijab? Or all the other women and girls who have been killed or threatened, or who live in fear for daring not to wear the hijab? Who is standing in solidarity with them? Not Western feminists. Meanwhile, at the University of Central Florida, Kathy Zhu noted, "I think it's kind of ridiculous how people are trying to censor others for disagreeing with them and then trying to get them kicked out. That's the definition of fascism." Indeed, and that's campus life in the United States, 2018. I'm Robert Spencer.